For today's lesson, we're going to cover the use of language in public speaking. When you are a public speaker, you need to make sure that you are using not only familiar words to you, but familiar words as well for your audience members. Keep in mind that most Americans only have a 7th or 8th grade reading level, so using larger words may sound impressive to you, but it can actually make your audience members feel alienated. As a speaker, there are 2 reasons you do not want to do this. Number 1, you don't want your audience members to stop listening or caring about what you're speaking about. And number 2, you don't want to lose your audience members. As a speaker, you are there to bring them information or to persuade them to something. If they stop listening, you've lost your audience and you've lost your goal. Keep in mind too that when you use smaller words, you can add more words in that small amount of time frame you have, bringing more visualization to your speech. When you use words, make sure you're using concrete words. Abstract words like physical activity and sports can give audience members some form of visualization of what you're speaking about. But concrete words are better. So if you were saying, "I like sports," well, that could be a number of things. As the Olympics are showing us right now, there are hundreds of sports out there. Do you love them all, or is there one in particular? If I were to tell you I love sports, and you'd ask me, "So you like basketball?" my answer would be no. And then you'd say, "Oh, so you like football?" and my answer would be no. Until I gave you the concrete answer of, "No, I like gymnastics." That's a concrete versus the abstract. See the difference? When using language accurately, you need to make sure that you're using the best word for that situation. Take a look at this slide. You have 3 different words: education, knowledge, and expertise. Sounds pretty much like the same word and that they could be used interchangeably. Take a moment though and read over these sentences. As you can see, each sentence requires one certain word, and not all 3 will fit in each sentence. So think for a moment, what materials can you use to make sure you're using the correct words for your speeches? When using language appropriately, you need to use it in consideration of the occasion in which you are speaking. Think about the settings. Would it be appropriate for an announcer to address an audience as, "Hey, you guys," at a change of command ceremony? Most likely not. But could you go in and be a speaker to a 4th grade classroom and say, "Hey guys, what's up?" Absolutely. You need to consider your audience and the occasion before you use your words. Appropriateness to the audience. Consider your audience and always avoid off-color humor. Sometimes I find students will ask me if a certain joke would be acceptable, and then they want to tell me the joke before they write it into their speech. My advice to you is, if you have to ask someone if it's appropriate, most likely it's not, and so don't say it during your speeches. Also, consider the education level of your audience, and when in doubt, stick to the 7th and 8th grade reading level education for your audience. Now let's say we're 20 years in the future and you have your PhD and you work at NASA. Would it be acceptable to speak to your colleagues as though they only have a 7th and 8th grade education? No. So always consider your audience's education level when choosing your words. Appropriateness to the topic. Think too, what is your goal of the speech? If your goal is to inform or to persuade, you may need to use straightforward descriptions when making your explanations. Special language can be used to invoke emotions, admiration, and appreciation. And these words and this way of speaking is more towards entertainment and inspirational type speeches, which we'll get to at the end of the term. Above all, make sure that you're using appropriate language for you. You need to learn how to develop your own speaking and delivery method, and this class is going to help you with that.